Everybody, good evening. Welcome to day 18 of Music Making Month. I'm glad you all came, and we got some cool stuff to talk about, but I got a few things to go over here. First, I'm going to listen to the song a little more. Yes, Third Floor. I think Electro Timba is a forum member. That is correct. So, listen, here's the deal. To those that are new and joining us here, we are playing your music every night to kick off the broadcast. And so you can send it to us, basically. If you send us a tweet with the hashtag MMMPropSongs, or if you send us a post on our Facebook wall, we'll check it. I come in every day. I check these songs out. I get to enjoy them myself, and then I pick one sort of kingmaker, I pick one, and that's the one that I'll use for the night. So send us your stuff. Hashtag MMMPropSongs is the Twitter way. Post on our Facebook wall. A couple people have PM'd me on our forums, private message. You could do that too if you're a forum member. So anyway, listen, I want to welcome our guests tonight. They are Phil Antoniadis and Carl Jacobson. They are the... I guess, is it safe to... Can I call you the two guys in the garage behind Nimbit, but the garage has become a mass global empire of music marketing and distribution? Is that a fair statement? Sorry, wait, say that again. I had your mic down.
Carl's the evil empire.
Okay, fair enough. How you guys doing? You're coming to us from Boston, is that right?
That's right.
How is it up there in Boston? Boston? I can't do the accent.
Raining.
Yeah, it's been raining here for about 2 weeks.
All right. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's April came a month late.
Aha.
Keeps us indoors working though. So.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Well, listen, I'm probably going to show my age here, but I come from...
Look at this beard.
Oh, okay. I'm in company then. But, in thinking about this event tonight, I started thinking about when I was in high school and making music, and I remembered the way you did it was you had a wire notebook, you went to your gigs, and people would write down their home address or their parents' phone number. If you lost the notebook, you lost your entire fan base. And when you wanted to talk to them, you got a stack of cards, you put 20-cent stamps on all of them, and you shot them out. And you guys have sort of harnessed the power of the interwebs to get us out from those barbaric dark ages. Is that true?
Through a series of tubes, yes.
Oh, good. Well, why don't you tell everybody out there a little bit about Nimbit and what Nimbit is and what Nimbit does?
Carl?
Okay, so Nimbit is a direct-to-fan platform, and direct-to-fan is the new model that the music industry is going towards, where essentially you can develop a direct relationship with your fan, you can cut out the middle person, communicate and engage them directly, and then monetize that relationship.
So what Nimbit does in this whole game is we have worked pretty hard to build a platform in which we gave you all the tools to be able to sell anything direct to your fan. And that, when we say direct, we mean you are actually selling the item and you are getting all the customer information. We're not talking about, say, iTunes, in which your fan buys it, but you never get to find out who actually purchased the item from you.
I think that's a very important distinction. There's some people probably out in our chat that have their music up on iTunes and they would understand this intimately. And then there's others that might be hoping, once their work is done, they're going to put it up on iTunes. But this is an interesting distinction because iTunes, it has some sort of reach that a lot of people have iTunes on their computer. They can buy music that way, so there's accessibility. But the major drawback is that you, as a band or as a musician, there's a wall there. You literally don't know.
Yeah. This is this is the puzzle for today's artist, and that's you do need. We're not saying you shouldn't be available on iTunes, and we're not saying you shouldn't be available on probably. I mean, I personally believe in being available on the larger third-party sites like iTunes and Amazon and eMusic and Rhapsody. But I'm not a big fan of every little tiny site in the world, because it becomes you become once removed from your music too much, and you pretty much have nothing to do with your music producing fans. And in a world in which music is being purchased less and consumed more, you as the artist need the direct benefit of whenever that piece of music goes out for free, it ought to be controlled by you. So it's not really free. You get an email address in return for it, and what you get is a customer. And that's what, this world is built on businesses that have customers and spend lots of money to get those customers. So your music, it's worth a lot of money just in the way it can bring you in customers. So you need to control that. What I was getting at before is that not only do we have this platform where you're selling anything directly on Facebook, on your website, just about anywhere you can place a store where you have control of that property on the web. But you're also able to track your fan activity, what your fans do. And that also means that the system can deliver promo codes, promo links, download cards, and all of these different things that your fans can engage with you on, and all of that's kept in a robust fan list that says it's not just here are your fans, but here are your fans, and these are the ones that open your emails, and these are the ones that actually take advantage of every single free track you ever offered, and these are the ones that come to your show and download, use your download cards, and here's down to how much money have they spent with you over a lifetime, and here are the people who bought a particular album. So all this information, all this history is tracked carefully in the system because it all comes to one place.
Yeah, and when you have that information in one place and you can understand it, then you can make intelligent decisions to communicate with those people in a way that makes sense for them. So, for instance, somebody that comes to your shows, you might want to remind them of another show or ask them to invite somebody else to another show. Somebody who's purchased something, you might want to say thank you and give them something free to reward them for the activity that they did.
So in addition to that, Nimbit combines a messaging system in the platform in our paid versions of Nimbit, so that you essentially can use that list and say, I want to send an email to all the people who spent money in the last month, and I want to say thank you, and I want to give them this free track. And we try to put everything you need to maintain your relationship with your fan into one platform. And there are other platforms out there trying to do this, and we're all working to try to make it as easy as possible for the artist to manage, because you've got nothing unless you're creating great music.
Yeah,
it has to start from there still.
Yeah, that's where we're coming from. We want it to be easy, There's so much involved in going to direct to fan today. There's so many things that you need to replace. And the most important thing that you as an artist can be doing is making music and engaging your fans. So the Nimbit platform was really set up to take care of the hard stuff. So you don't have to worry about coding a storefront. So you don't have to worry about distributing secure files. So you don't have to worry about credit card processing. We take care of those things so that you can just think of creative ways to interact with fans. Yeah,
and in addition, you don't want to be downloading a bunch of different spreadsheets to try to figure out where you're selling what.
Totally.
It becomes 1/10 of 1% of 1% of people who actually get to the point where they do something about it. What you need, and what we hope to talk about today, is, just the practical, ways to go about doing direct to fan and why you do it. And to be sort of straightforward, a lot of people talk about you need to know your metrics and you need to follow, this strategy, and you need to be on 1,987 different sites. You know what? You need to handle what you can handle that gets you some results, because that's the only way you're going to build a business.
And this is the kind of, it's the reality is that musicians, and I'm going to be stereotypical, but I'm pointing the finger at myself. Musicians got into music because they didn't want to be crunching numbers in Excel and, trying to figure out, the PHP code that's going to let them attach a widget to their this and that. I mean, that we kind of want to stay focused on the making music thing, but obviously the reality is that we might as well just be doing that alone in our closet if we aren't reaching out to the people that actually listen to us. So I think that's where this is sort of it taps into our lazy side while also tapping into our efficiency.
Sure, and I think it's funny. The older I get, the less I understand about this entire business. Yet I have a good window on it since I've been a professional drummer since I was 14. I still gig 2 to 3 nights a week because I can't get enough of it. Yet I've also started my first business when I was 14 and been an entrepreneur the whole time. And it's this business, though, it's no longer, it's no longer okay to just aspire to being signed and think that you're actually going to have any life as a musician. And since the majority of the musicians I know are frustrated, they're all getting so frustrated with today's business, and they have no skills to actually survive. And it's sad because there's so many practical tools out there on the web now for you to survive, as long as you have a strategy and as long as you actually want to take responsibility for it. And I think some of the things we can touch on if anybody cares out there is just about, you have to be genuinely interested in wanting to find out what the benefits are of having a direct-to-fan strategy. And if you're not interested in it, you're never going to succeed at it, because it takes some thought, some creative thought, almost equally as much creative thought as you put into your music should go into the way you conduct your business plan.
Right.
But it can be fun. It's just another form of creativity.
Did I make that not sound fun?
No, but you know what it reminds me, actually? Last night we were speaking to OK Go, or Damian Kulash from OK Go. And I mean,
he's a perfect guy.
Talk about a band that has sort of maximized the use of the internet for their success. And, prior to hooking up with them, I was talking to their people, and we were kind of arranging the event. And the woman I was speaking to, by the name of Victoria, said, cool, we'll get our digital team on this. And I thought, my God, how awesome if, for a band to have like a digital team, and we don't all have a digital team. But then it's like, I thought, well, how appropriate. Tonight we're talking to like, okay, well, here's like the digital team, it's like, and we can just tap into that.
How do you get a digital team is really interesting. And what happened with OK Go, look, you have to be ready for the opportunity that may come your way any second now with the net. What was it, a month ago now, that girl from, was it UC Santa Cruz, had something to say that was pretty derogatory about the Japanese earthquake and people in her library. And she posted a video blog that got turned into an auto-tune hit that hit CNN, and she was expelled from college all in a week. That's the power of, YouTube.
And she was getting remixed.
Right.
Probably by people watching this webinar.
So, I mean, this is the power of what's going on, and a YouTube video could turn into instant fame for you. Are you ready to take advantage of it? I mean, we've seen certainly every way to do it wrong here, because we get the calls from people who are panicking. Like, I remember one guy who called and he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. I was on, he's on this huge radio station in New York City, and he had 15,000 downloads of his MP3, which was on a page he'd taken off his website but not deleted, and someone had Googled it, found it, and everyone was getting free downloads of his song with not even a way to get an email address for that song. And by the time he had gotten a free track up on the homepage of his website, track in return for an email with us, the opportunity had passed.
Wow.
And there goes 15,000 new fans out the window because he wasn't ready.
Wow,
yeah,
right.
So to tie that in with Nimbit, with our platform, you can have a storefront live where you could be selling that download literally in just a few minutes. And then any sale that would go through the platform, anybody who would download your track, even if it were available for free, you would capture the fan information, you would grow your fan list, you could understand who those people are, and then you could start a dialogue with your fans. I mean, you could just the simple act of saying, hey, thank you for downloading my song. That is huge because it's direct communication from you as the artist, and people are going to appreciate that.
Right. Well, listen, I got a few questions that came in while we've been talking here in the chat, and I want to let them have their say. So,
I had this really boring speech planned at a presentation, and I had my PowerPoint notes out. But all right.
All right. Oh, we'll bore them yet. Don't worry. No. So here's
we're gonna do finger puppet stuff, and just.
All right. Guess I'll take my socks off and start gluing the googly eyes on.
Awesome.
So, Zillis wants to know, do you see Nimbit as an option for audio sales in general, or is it geared solely towards musical artists?
No, it's, any audio imaginable you can sell through it. I mean, we have people that sell spoken word. We have people that sell, there are comedians that use the Nimbit platform.
A lot of motivational people use the platform. I mean, it's a great way to do daily audio clips, that kind of thing.
There are ministries that distribute their sermons that way. So, I mean, anything in an audio format can be distributed over the Nimbit platform. And on our premium plans, you can distribute things that aren't audio at all. Like we have some book authors that use us to do their fulfillment of their books and to get storefronts, things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. And so let me move through the questions here. S. Foreman wants to know if you guys have any sort of, he says, any success or specific promotion stories that you can share with us.
Tons.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
no, let's not tell now.
No. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. You know what? I would like to kind of frame the conversation a little bit, which is to say that one of the keys to succeeding with direct to fan is constantly building your fan base, capturing fans, and you do that by engaging fans, and then using this process of engagement, which involves capturing fans and also keeping your present fans interested, and taking your reasons to engage, say a couple of times you have a reason to engage, and then turning it into a reason to buy. And then going back to reasons to engage, and then reasons to buy. And if you try to approach the business of this on that simple level, you can actually do fairly well, because then you can pick whatever, it could be Facebook, it could be email, pick whatever you're comfortable with and start engaging, and then start figuring out ways at the point at which you say, well, I figured out a couple creative ways to engage. Now let's think of a creative thing to give them, these fans, a reason to buy. And this is the whole game in a nutshell. And now I think that'll help to frame some of the examples we have, because
yeah, I think maybe the first one we should talk about is 100 Monkeys, because they're a group that live what you just described.
Well, 100 Monkeys does something that's very impressive, which is they constantly switch out their merchandise every 5 weeks. Everything is a limited edition.
Wow.
They never create any product that when it runs out they make more. They make something different. And their average fans now are spending about $90 a year.
Yeah, I mean, this group, they pull in tens of thousands of dollars every month.
They sold a book on how a monkey poops last week.
with cartoon books that, they drew some cartoons of a monkey taking
clearly that's one of those gotta-have-it items. So.
Right, well, you know what? They sold 400 signed books, and I won't even call them books. They're more like stapled colored paper.
$40 a piece.
$40 a pop.
Wow.
Now, mind you, what's interesting is that these guys, they're not constantly trying to create music. They have music, and then they create different types of merchandise, and that sort of leads up to the next thing of music that they put out.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of that bridge that takes you between the sales that you would get from your music to the sales of your next release. What are you going to do in between those points? Give your fans something else cool that they can get into.
So it's interesting because one of the things Damien was saying last night from OK Go was that the myth that's out there that, it's okay, the sales are down because we'll make it all back from touring is not true. He said that that's true for Bono because he's charging $180 a ticket. But that's not true for the person that's getting 100 people paying $5 a ticket at the, Sparky's Diner in Missouri.
Right. I have a baby band that I play in all the time, and we have about 5,000 people on our mailing list. And I constantly try to put into practice anything I learned from some of the larger bands we work with to see if they actually work for my little under-the-radar band. And it's amazing how many things translate in the same percentages over to a baby band. How many good practices really work for direct-to-fan. For instance, if everyone in my band signs a napkin and we sell it at a show for $20, someone will buy that napkin.
Or even a set list.
But if we sign 3 napkins, no one will buy anything. It has to be rare, and there's really only one person out there who will pay for it. But the point of the matter is you have to give your fans reasons to engage at different levels. So if they're going to buy, you better say, well, here's something for the super fan, here's something for a regular fan, and here's something free to get you in, to get you going. And you should always think about having something in your site along those lines, because you never know when you're going to pick up a super fan who'll buy anything you want. And this is the magic of what 100 Monkeys have done, is they've really figured out how to have a never-ending amount of things for their super fans to want to buy, from little wristbands to shot glasses to this T-shirt, then a hoodie, then another T-shirt, then a hat, then some music, then a book about poop. I mean, they just keep it coming.
Wow.
Let's
doesn't go well after poop, does it? But
no.
Right.
Well,
I think poop is a good place to go there. But let's talk a bit about another way that people have had successes with the Nimbit platform in doing pre-sales for their release before it comes out. So we've had artists like Suzanne Vega and Ellis Paul do pre-sales for their releases, and that was another great way that people were able to engage their fans, get them to really buy into the process and feel some ownership in what they were doing, and bring forward money that they would make. Not only bring forward money, but actually increase the amount of money it would make. So
I'll give you.
Let's talk about Ellis, I guess.
Well, I'll give you an example from my band and who I learned from and what I did. My band was good for 150 to 200 people, in a club. And for our CD release party, I thought I'd rent a theater and see if we could put 550 people in a club, which was crazy.
I've seen the band.
It was fun to do. And the way we started the entire release of the CD was first with pre-sales of the hardcover edition, which you could get for $10, and then a signed version for $20. And just as we've seen with a Suzanne Vega or with Ellis Paul, your premium versions actually sold in pre-sales almost 4 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah, because the person who's interested in buying ahead of time wants to support you and will pay for the premium item. I think we could have done a more creative job than just sold the signed CD, but that's what we did.
Interesting.
And you could have put together bundles of other things as well. It
Right.
could have been a CD plus a T-shirt, or anybody who ordered the ticket and got the pre-sale got a free download.
So we did include free downloads, so you got something, some instant gratification, which you can do easily. Some things we did along the lines of engaging fans was we made sure that there were liner notes and another track available via download code inside the CD jacket. So if you sold to someone at a show, you were pretty sure to be able to get their fan information later when they downloaded the song.
Right, okay.
When we went to promote the actual CD release show, we started by selling 50 tickets, premium tickets, to hang out with the band for an hour before the show, and we sold them for $50 a piece. My bandmates were very uncomfortable about doing this because they were like, what if no one buys any of the tickets? And I said, well, no one knows that they're 50 for sale, and for the 4 people who show up, they're going to feel very special. But you shouldn't be afraid to put things up. Make sure you think about how the fan looks at it, not how you're looking at it. I personally didn't think that anyone would buy any of these tickets because I wouldn't hang out with me for $50. No, I'm serious. Like I really didn't see the value in it.
Sure.
And one of my manager friends, she suggested that you always make everything a privilege to your fans. So she said, take a subset of your fans and offer them these tickets. So I took everyone who had, with the Nimbit system, I was able to look up everyone who purchased anything from us over $15 in the last year. And I sent an email just to them, and I said, there's these special tickets to hang out with the band that cost $50, and we want to, thank you so much for purchasing from us over the last year. We want to give you the privilege of first dibs. In 24 hours, we sold 50 tickets for $50. That's $2,500. It paid for the theater, the lights, and the sound. Done. Now I had another 500 tickets to sell, and no easy thing to do. And I put together a package of bring your friends, a bring your friend package where you get 4 tickets and a CD. And that was the next thing I released for sale. I didn't release general admission yet. And I sent that out to anyone who spent any money with the band in the last 2 years. And it took a week to sell, but we sold 50 packages. So I was another 200 tickets ahead. And these people were getting 4 tickets and a CD and were committing to bringing other people to the show.
Wow.
And then put up the general admission tickets. They were cheap. They were $15 with a CD, but you get the CD when you got there, which was easy for delivery. And we sold 500 total tickets. We didn't quite sell the place out, but I was pretty much blown away by what happened. And I asked every single person who came to hang out with the band, would you do it again? Was this worth it? And everyone was so ecstatic. And of course, I'm just giggling inside because I'm like, are you kidding? This is just an hour hanging out with the band. And they're like, when can we do this again? So you should never underestimate what can be done and what your super fans would pay for and how special that makes things for them. And that was, to me, that was a very successful CD release party. And from there on, we employ a lot of the same things that we learned from these artists, with our own bands, and we try to share this in our weekly newsletter. What worked for which band?
I mean, that's the promise, or not the promise, the sort of the hope that is out there now in this sort of post-label world is that we're all able to start thinking outside the box in a way that we sort of haven't even imagined being able to do. And so all those promotions you're talking about, well, why are we stuck in this notion that we just need to put our tickets for sale at the box office and hope people buy them, and 1 ticket per person, and that's all you get is that ticket? It's like there's a million different ways you can approach the idea of people coming to see you play live and how you do that.
And you have to be, you should be super creative about it. Some things that I've learned and we've watched other artists do. Download cards are great as here's a free download, and only use them at your gigs because that will tell you when you go back into the system and look up who downloaded anything, who comes to your shows and cares enough to download your music. They're real fans.
Let's just tell people what that is. Essentially, you can create a card that has a special code on it, just like this. Hand it out at your gigs. Tell people, hey, you like what you're hearing up here? Go to the merch table and grab a free download card. We want to give you a free piece of music. They take it home. The important thing is they have something to remember you by. How many times have you seen a band and then the next day you're not even sure who they were if you stumble upon them randomly? They've got something. They go to your website. They get a piece of music, and you collect their information.
Wow.
And you're sort of qualifying that fan in a couple ways. One, you can now identify they're the people who come to my show. And it's very interesting to look up who downloads free music from download cards and whether they buy anything. And
that's a real interesting correlation.
With some artists, we found that they don't buy as much as the people who don't go to shows, which is interesting.
Huh.
And I've tried a promotion with my own band in which instead of trying to pitch them a CD, all I said was, bring someone to the show next time and we'll give you a CD. And it increased attendance because they're the most likely people to convince someone else to come out to a show. And when you talk about thinking outside the box, you have to constantly think of interesting ways to engage fans because they're getting quite disassociated from just buying music. It has to get more interesting, and you have to stop thinking about your music as something you always sell. You can use it in many ways to increase the amount of money you make.
Exactly.
I gave away a CD, but 2 more people came to a show again.
Right.
Just because somebody isn't necessarily buying your music doesn't mean that they're not supporting you. If they're coming to your show, they're supporting you. If they're telling other people about you, they're supporting you. If they're bringing somebody to your show, they're supporting you.
Right. It's
Exactly.
Like, it's like, in order to make music, we don't think about our guitars and the cables and the drum set as a recoupable expense. And it's like we have to sort of flip the thinking a little bit to be like, the CD is not necessarily a direct recoupable expense. It is a promotional thing, just like my zebra print spandex that looks so hot on stage is a promotional expense. Not that I'm not saying I wear zebra,
That's a great way of looking at it. I mean, you're not
I have that.
You're not necessarily selling people music. You're selling people access to you and access to your creativity.
Well, this brings up, some of the basic concepts of having a brand, which is no one should be afraid of. The moment you've decided to put an effect on an instrument, you are creating a brand. You are basically, when you decide a part needs to be a certain way, you're branding and shaping your music, and you need to embrace the fact that whatever you are as an entity is a brand, and that's extremely important when you figure out what you're selling to the world. And that leads to the fact that you need to know why you're doing this. Are you doing this to make money? Are you doing this for fame? Are you doing this because you just really need attention? I say it jokingly, but it's not really a joke. The truer you are to yourself about these things, the faster you can figure out how to feel good about what you're doing, promoting yourself, what you're doing with your business. And, of course, that always reflects in your music. The more positive you are about what you're creating and why you're creating it. I think quite often people aren't truthful with themselves about it. And that sets them off on a business plan that's self-destructive. When you have a baby band, you should be building your fan base. That should be your number one thing, because you want to have people come to your shows. That's what you should be doing. If you're not playing out, if you're creating music at home, and you want to get placements with it, it almost has the same idea, which is that you need to get your music out to as many people as possible. I'm waiting for somebody to give away music for a month or so, like mad, on Facebook, and just ask their Facebook network if they know anybody who can place a song in a show. And my guess is that'll be the fastest connection to see somebody get a placement ever, because someone's bound to know somebody who's a musical director on some reality TV. There must be 5 billion of them at this point.
Right.
Building your fan list gives you clout. So when you can call a promoter and tell them, I've got 250 people within 10 miles of your venue, they're going to be more likely to put you on the bill. If you do find yourself in a situation where you're talking to management, or if you're talking to a label at some point, being able to tell them, I have the capacity to sell this much, or I have the capacity to reach this many people.
Right. This is your power.
And really understand them. That's your power as an artist.
We had an artist come to us. He was 18 years old. His name was Chase Coy. He had sold almost 100,000 downloads on iTunes, and primarily promoted himself through MySpace. The issues he was having was, one, he had only played 7 gigs in his life, and he did not know who his fans were, other than, I can put a message on MySpace and everyone will talk to me, and that was about it. And this was an issue with trying to prove his value in the market. So we tried to help his management and him. We tried to help him figure out how to sell direct to fans so he could start identifying these fans. And I have to say that it was a bit of a challenge to get people to stop buying at iTunes. And it took a lot of experiments until we finally put a banner at the top of his MySpace page that said, buy this official package at Chase's official store, which was a CD and a T-shirt for $15. It wasn't a huge profit for him, but it was a package you couldn't get anywhere else. And that over a weekend unlocked thousands and thousands of dollars in sales, and started a trend of people buying direct from him. And as he started to do that and build, very quickly build his email list, he actually negotiated a 7-figure deal with the record companies. And his power in that deal was that he was able to say, well, I've sold 100,000 downloads at iTunes. My sales now direct are growing exponentially, and I'm now identifying my fans. And as he was starting to capture those fans, he was able to, with some confidence, say, I might be able to sell 100,000 albums as an 18-year-old kid myself, and that would be $1 million. And so what are you going to do for me?
Right.
And now, mind you, he's no longer with that major label. It only took, I think, less than a year, because the major, and what's hilarious is that the major label even has this kind of money to blow when they've sold like, how many, less than 30 albums last year sold 1 million copies? I think it's less than that. Anyway, but the point is, he was in the driver's seat, and he had to make a decision, and I think he made the right decision, which was that, I could do this thing on my own, or the labels are offering me all this stuff. And I think he made the right decision by going with the label to see what would happen. But you know what? It's over. He's not even 20 years old yet, and he's back making money on his own, touring now. He's had more exposure from the label deal. And so because he had all that direct-to-fan business and knew who his fans were ahead of time, he was able to negotiate a good deal. But also now, post-label, he still has a career.
Right. I mean, this is the thing to me. It's like, it sort of seems now that the artists that have the momentum to gain the attention of a label almost are like the artists that don't necessarily need the label because they've got the momentum, right? It's like they're doing the Ani DeFranco, the Imogen Heap model of just going independent, and it's working.
Well, this is the nature of today's business, which is, the distribution channels have been, we use the big word disintermediated, but, they've been ripped apart. We're at the part of the nuclear explosion where, we're in the part where it's going over itself about here. And, we're in the mushroom cloud. And whatever's going to replace this business, I can tell you I have no idea at all. Whatever's going to replace the drivers of the music business, the part that makes money, I'm not sure. I think people between the ages of 12 and 19 know the answer, and they're certainly brilliant enough that they'll figure it out. Seriously, because they're the ones who have no preconceived notions of how to consume music. They're doing it however way they want. And to me, they hold the key. They don't necessarily hold the key to all creation. More and more musicians have more and more access to create music and for longer periods of time. So I think music in general is getting very interesting. But the defensive position, it's not the answer to everything, but the defensive position is to definitely engage your fans and turn your fans into a supportive base, to engage with your fans in a real way. That doesn't mean daily maintenance, but basically to be real about your engagement with them such that they feel like they're connected to you. And there's no excuse not to have that connection, and it really may be becoming a prerequisite to having a career at all at this point.
Right.
I want to elaborate on something that you just said there, and I think this is something that'll resonate with anybody that's listening to this. I want all of you to think about how liberating it was to get Reason or to get Record and to be able to take direct control of your music making process. What the direct-to-fan model is it's in a similar fashion. You are given the keys to the car and you are given the ability to really take control of this yourself and make things happen yourself. It's up to you to take control of things, and you're free to do it now.
Well, then, I'll tell you what. Let's start the car up. You guys have a little window over here that we can take a look at the platform directly, right?
We certainly can.
All right,
So
rev her up.
What we're going to show people today is last night we launched a public beta of the next generation of the Nimbit platform. So this is we're introducing it on our free platform, and everybody who's attending the webinar would be able to sign up for this. And essentially, we have strive to make the program, the platform, as easy to use as possible. So,
so if anything, we've actually erred on taking things out of our platform for a little while until we can make them stupidly simple.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the core things that we wanted to do here was make it as quick and easy as possible to go from just signing up to having a storefront online.
Are you seeing the online thing now?
Are you seeing this now?
Yes, I am. Yep, we're looking at it. Actually, we're not. We're looking at my window here. Hang on a second.
Oh, are you seeing me, or can I,
Let me just make a switch.
Right,
I'm getting the link. Yes, I see. No, I'm not seeing. No. I'm on your desktop, and I am right now pasting into the chat room the.
All right, I'm going to change then.
Oh, I see. Is this wardrobe change, like Lady Gaga style?
Exactly.
Is the meat dress coming out? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm looking at your desktop here.
Okay, so this is the Nimbit homepage. This is what you're seeing. So now this is what it would look like if we logged into a Nimbit account. And so this is the landing page, and very easy. We want you to see how you're doing when you log in. If you just set up an account, this area would give you some quick things that you should do, like set up a product, tell people about your product, add some people to your fan list if you have an existing fan list. But so you're taking a look here. You're seeing some sales that an independent artist has done. You're seeing a kind of an overall pie chart of how many people have signed up for his mailing list. You have some quick links on the side here, a little refer a friend button. So why don't we...
Well, I'd go to products.
Yeah, why don't we go to products first?
So in products, in a free account, of course, you can upload digital music. In paid accounts, you can upload and also sell physical goods. We warehouse them, we ship, we do all that stuff. But sticking to this platform, you can upload and quickly sell anything you want through a set of storefronts.
Let me just ask you. I'm going to ask you guys some questions as they're coming in on the chat, so that we are still on that topic at the time. A boogeyman wants to know if I sign up for a free account, can I transition to a paid account later down the road?
Absolutely. From this free account, which is using the new user interface, you can't upgrade today. But within a matter of maybe 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to actually roll this user interface style over to our paid product, and at that point, you would be able to upgrade. Yeah,
absolutely. And you get a good idea trying the free, what you're going to get into in the paid versions. I highly recommend you start with a free dashboard first.
Yeah, Nimbit will grow with you. We have 2 levels higher than free that you can go to. And
it's just the new interface is so nice, it makes the old one embarrassing.
Yeah. But, so at the free level, you can sell digital products, you can collect fan information. At the paid product level, you can sell physical goods, you can get some distribution to third-party distributors like iTunes, you have fan messaging, and then at an even higher level, we have a pro-level account, and at that level, you can actually have multiple artist accounts within one account. And that tends to be used by independent labels or managers.
And some much higher messaging quotas because, like 20,000 emails, that kind of thing.
Right.
But to give you a quick tour, any products that you set up are now available in your storefront. And we have some controls for you to be able to set up. It's an HTML5 based storefront, and you can take that store and it shows up immediately on nimbitmusic.com and can be branded, like skinned to with your own header and background.
Yeah, so you can put a custom header, and it's custom background.
And it's also available with a simple app in Facebook to install on Facebook, and we'll show you a couple of those stores really quick.
Yeah, all right. So this would be an example of a storefront that would be created.
Show them the poop book.
Okay.
I think that's in merchandise.
Yeah, the poop book. Or wait, have they sold out of the poop book?
Could be. Go down. See if it's... there
we go.
See, every monkey dookies.
Every monkey dookies. Wow.
Maybe yours just $10.
This is the next Dr. Seuss, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you read it, it's...
So from our storefronts, you have the ability to sell digital music. You have the ability to give away a free track. And if I were to add that to my cart, then basically I would just need to, as a fan, provide a little bit of information.
And get the download.
We've asked for the bare minimum. We just want to know your name, your email address, your postal code, and the country that you're in. And a nice thing about the Nimbit platform is you can actually view your artists. I mean, you can view your fans by their geographical location as well, which makes it easy to.
And so we'll show you Facebook too, so that we have the store also shows up in Facebook.
Here's a little gratuitous self-promotion here. This is Phil's baby band.
My baby band.
So right within your Facebook page, it's very easy to do. You just simply install the Nimbit application, and you get a tab on your Facebook fan page. And from there, you can sell your music, your merch. You can promote shows that you might have coming up. And what's nice about this is there are a few different solutions for you to get your music represented on Facebook. But all of the solutions that are out there, with the exception of the Nimbit platform, send people away from Facebook. And I think of that as like, if you're partying with your friends, if somebody comes in and asks you to go to a bar down the street, you might not go, but here they can stay right there on Facebook, make the sale right there, and, have.
One of the other cool things about the Facebook store is each product you can actually comment on. So one of the first things we tell our artists to do is to go tell everyone on Facebook that you opened a store and you just want them to go there and comment. And that sort of passive-aggressive way of getting them to your store leads to a lot of sales.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then there's the ever-important share button. So people can actually share and promote your music on Facebook for you. And that's rapidly turning into like the most important way that new people can discover you, because the word of wall is incredible. It's just going from one person to all of their friends.
Right.
And then to be clear, we have a pretty cool set of storefronts that in a paid version can be put directly into your website with a seamless checkout in your website, and you can install one of these stores in minutes, not hours.
Yeah, so here's an example of that.
So if I'm Rusted Root,
are they Nimbit members? Rusted Root?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I weaseled an opening gig with them a couple weeks ago.
Are they still closing their set with "Send Me on My Way"?
Actually, they were playing some new stuff, but they do bring it out at the right time.
Just at that. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Everyone's still baked who comes to the show. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So, should we go back?
Yes, but a question actually that came in from user PhiSequence. He would like sort of a compare and contrast to a service he's familiar with, CD Baby, and he's sort of curious, what do you guys do that they don't? Or I guess what
they don't. Well, I don't want to say anything bad.
No, right. I mean, so CD Baby is a good solution.
Yeah, no. What we do is we're more interested in making sure you have a full-blown storefront that you can engage your fans with in Facebook, where you might. Where, in other words, we want to be where your fans engage with you, and we want to keep on your brand. So as opposed to ever sending them to, say, CD Baby to buy, you're sending them to your page on Nimbit Music, or your store on your website, or your store on your page in Nimbit. That store in Nimbit, that store on Facebook wasn't on a Nimbit page. It was on Evan's actual band page to purchase at.
Right.
And we're interested in you using the promotional tools and essentially keeping all your data in one place and gathered that way.
I think
I have to say that like CD Baby and other competitors are all looking for bringing these things into one place, but big difference between us and CD Baby is we're certainly not interested in promoting the Nimbit brand. We're all about your brand.
Yeah, and allowing you to customize everything to look exactly as you want it to look.
Did that help at all?
Yeah, well, I think another differentiation would be, and I might be wrong, but flexibility in product types as well.
Yep.
So, being able to offer
refrigerators.
Yeah.
Well, that actually relates. There's a question from someone, Naviret Lav, and I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your handle. They say, I'm an artist, so can I sell art on Nimbit as well?
You could.
Yeah, with a paid account, yes.
You could. We are in the process of building, it'll be out in less than 2 months, but the ultimate ability to sell whatever.
Huh.
So we're rolling out a more flexible catalog to allow even more diverse product types. One of the things about selling art that might make it a little difficult is, well, if you wanted to sell the original, no, that
we could do it.
Difficult. Yeah, we could do it. Yeah.
And what about ProStar Rich actually wants to know specifically about videos, if there's video support, I guess, within the platform?
Coming soon.
Okay, cool.
We just we're in the process of doing a big enhancement in the cloud so that we could deliver video. That's the biggest challenge to video.
Gotcha. And actually, one other question while we're sort of firing off these, expansion services questions. There was a question from the question comes from Benjamin83, and he wants to know if you do or will be supporting Euro-only services like Spotify. And before you answer, just for people out there who do not know Spotify, it is sort of like iTunes, but on demand. In the U.S., the closest thing I could give us to a parallel is Pandora, but that's different. Pandora, you say, I like this artist, and it plays related artists. Spotify is not. It's an infinite iTunes list living in the cloud, and you just load it up and get all your music. Now, from a monetary standpoint for musicians, it's not the best, but if you start looking at your music as the promotional tool, then it's okay. But so do you guys have any sort of Spotify integration or similar things cooking?
Yes. We have a contract with Spotify, and we have held back on the development because waiting their imminent release in the U.S.,
which has been
about a year in the making.
Yeah.
And the short answer is yes, we have plans.
Yeah, Spotify is going to be important. Spotify is going to come to the U.S.
And we see it for the same reasons you just described.
Yeah.
Just like we see iTunes. I mean, you want to be ultimately available where your fans are. And then you want to do everything in your power to convert those fans to your direct contact, your direct fan.
There's a great question related to the conversion that just came in from the Lifesavers, and he's saying in terms of fan conversion, he says, my band has a lot of friends on MySpace. How do I convert those friends into fans?
Start talking to them only on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't mean that. But that's actually how Chase Coy did it. He
really?
He started engaging all the time on Facebook and saying, "Oh, come on over and talk to me over here." But I would say the easiest way for you to do that is to give away a free track in return for an email, and now you have an email address as opposed to a Facebook fan.
Or MySpace in that instance.
Or MySpace fan. Sorry, excuse me.
Engage with them on MySpace and encourage them, or lead them away from MySpace somewhere else where you can capture their fan information.
Take over the header. I don't know if you can still do that now with the new layout, but basically that's what you want to do. You want to go for a campaign of maybe more than one track at a time, like one track followed by another, but free music in return for an email address, and convert those fans into fans that you have the power to engage with. Because of all the platforms, I know many artists who lost all their MySpace fans for a reason or another.
Right.
And it's extremely hard to get that stuff back.
Gotcha. So I'm switching back to your screen here to see what else we could, because I see there's movement going on here on your screen. So
we're goofing around.
Oh, you're just goofing around.
All right. So we had showed you the product setup, and in here it's relatively easy to set up a product. I'm just going to pull up some product information so you can see the type of stuff that you can affect and control. All right, so you have the ability to decide whether you're selling a single or the individual tracks. You have the ability to replace a digital file. So we have, a very simple uploader. We ask you for WAV files. You can actually, in the process of uploading them, you can just simply drag and drop them onto the uploader, and that will start the upload. You can upload multiple files at the same time. We ask for WAV files because we want to make sure that your stuff is made available in the best format possible. So you'll have all the accurate metadata that you put into your account that's linked to the account. That will all get put into your files. And we're planning on offering additional digital formats in the future. So when you upload your WAV file, we'll convert it to MP3 for sale today, but in the near future, we'll also be offering it as a FLAC file or other WAV file formats that you might like, audio formats you might like.
Gotcha.
You can also add your lyrics for any song, which will show up in the storefront. Which is, just a nice way to keep, conserve all the places you have to put all your metadata.
Right. And
I think you show them the fan list. Did you show them that?
Let's bring up the fan list.
This would be the pared down for the free version fan list, but you can see who's joined an email list and who's actually spent any money and how much money they've spent over time.
Right. So, for example, these fans here are indicated with a little $. We should probably localize that, to show sales. So you can actually search your fan list and filter them in a variety of portions. So you can find people by their email address or their state. You could look just for people who have purchased from you. You can actually search by purchase amounts over a certain dollar level. So like Phil said in his example, he emailed everybody who had spent more than $15 with him within X miles of a postal code. And So
we want to encourage everybody to try free.
Right. I've got the link here. I'm going to post that in the chat room again.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to post that in the chat. Wait, let me see here. There we go.
I wonder if there's any other questions out there.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions coming in. Let's see. Oh, here. Yeah, a boogeyman wants to know, can a fan download a song more than once without repurchasing?
Can a fan download? The link will work.
I think the link is set to 3 times. 3 times on the download. And then after that, if they contact customer service, as long as they can prove a receipt, we'll reissue a link. But we do try to make sure that they're not unlimited because we have seen them passed around.
Aha. Makes sense. And there was some other discussion in the chat. I don't know if it's. See here. There's some discussion about sort of basically the premium accounts. What that entails? Is it it's a monthly fee? It's an annual fee? Is it a percentage of sales? Is it both?
It's a monthly fee and with a discount for an annual subscription.
And then there's a percentage taken off sales.
But across the board, there's a percentage taken off sales. We take right now we take 16.5% plus 3.5% processing fee.
Gotcha. So and that's true of the free account and of all the accounts, right?
Never more than 20%.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
And for comparative purposes, if you sell a track through iTunes, they take 30%. Okay,
cool. And James Bernard in our forums, who happens to be our Reason product specialist, he's asking, he says, are songs that are uploaded to Nimbit only allowed to be on Nimbit, or can I upload and sell them elsewhere if I want to?
We're not exclusive. You could put yourself on as many platforms as you'd like.
Yeah, this isn't that direct-to-fan spirit. This is your business, not ours.
Yeah, we're here to provide you with a means to the end, not to take over that, not to take it all over for you.
Yeah. The only thing you have to be cautious of, and you have to be cautious of with any, whenever you're using multiple platforms, is one, good luck coordinating multiple platforms, and two, you shouldn't send the same track through 2 different distributors to, say, a third party like iTunes or eMusic.
Yeah, but
Gotcha.
That's not to say if you are using another platform and they don't have a nice means for you to have a Facebook storefront, please, by all means, sign up for a free Nimbit account and get a storefront on your Facebook page.
Right. Okay. And
nice
there was a question that came in a long time ago that I didn't get to, but it popped in my head again here. Someone was asking about physical sales and the artist example that you gave of the guy who ended up getting a deal and the whole thing. Are physical sales, were his physical sales handled through a logistics operation that you guys have, or how is that done?
We have warehousing, pick, pack, and ship service, and that is all included in a paid account.
So you guys have the CDs in the warehouse. Order comes in. You guys stamp, wrap, ship, the whole deal.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, as an artist, do you really want to be keeping pack and supplies around? I mean, if you're on tour, do you really want to be calling your girlfriend and saying, "Hey, honey, can you know, go ship a CD for me?"
Right.
No, let us take care of that.
Let's be really honest. There's a very small subset of musicians who are any good at following through with pick, packing, and shipping things. Really, just.
Well, the classic thing was always you recruited your friends and brought them over on a Sunday and gave them beer.
Reliable. Just remember that every time you don't deliver in a reasonable amount of time, your fan will pick up the phone and call their credit card company and say, "What's going on with this charge? I haven't gotten anything yet." And that inquiry, not the actual denial, that inquiry costs you $35.
Yeah, that actually happened to my band.
So you best deliver really quickly.
Order fell through the cracks. Don't know how we missed it, and then we got the contact. It was like, oh, sorry.
Oh, stinks, man.
So, wow. A question from Emil Bibi, who wants to know, how do you get started? Do you know any good advice to get many fans? Like, I want to do something today. What's the first step I can take?
Facebook.
Yeah.
It's the fastest place where you got to start with the people you know. And that used to be you emailed all the people you know, and then you asked them to email other people, which was kind of difficult. Now, all someone has to do is like you on Facebook, and all their friends know.
Yeah, or share.
Or share. So one of the easiest things you can do is just start with a storefront on Facebook and go from there. And if you're starting out, you should take everyone who's your friends and your potential fans and take them on the journey with you, and don't be afraid to talk about what you're doing. I want to build my fan base, and I'm working to eventually sell this product, or I'm giving away my music so as many people as possible will know who I am.
That's an important point, Phil. One of the biggest mistakes that I see artists do is they treat places like Facebook or Twitter like old world advertising, and all they communicate is buy my album, buy my album, buy my album, buy my album. That's not that you're not using it the right way.
Or come to my show, and a day later come to my show, and a day later come to my show, come to my show.
Yeah. No, so I mean, you want to get those messages out there, but really you also want to engage people and have a relationship with them and keep it real and respond.
There's nothing wrong with saying I'm trying to get more than 15 people to show up at this gig.
Yeah.
And
it's almost refreshing.
Well, yeah, and the thing is you now enlist people. Look, I don't know how many times, and it happens at every single gig, that I run into somebody who says, wow, you guys have made it. You must be making a fortune. There's 100 people in the room. They paid $10 a piece to get in there. And they think you're making $5,000 to play the gig, which makes absolutely no sense. And even in a perfect world, that wouldn't make any sense. And you actually have to sit down and say, look, where do you think this money goes? How much do you think they really made at the bar? There's no stardom here. This is, your fans are everything. And you never want them to assume that you're doing so well that they don't need to support you.
But, to go back to the original question that started this, I think maybe the easiest thing to do would be to get something set up on Facebook, and then maybe not even try to sell out of the gate. Actually, give some music away for free and tell people, hey, if you like this, would you please tell other people about it?
Yeah, and one other way to go is you put an album up for sale, make the first track free in the store, and point people at the store and say, go. Get a free track, tell your friends about it, share it, review my album. All of these are great things, and they don't take a lot of effort on your part.
A creative thing that I've seen some artists do is, in their physical CDs that they sell, they include a download card that says, if you like this album, please give this card to a friend.
The tell a friend thing's very useful.
Huh. Interesting. And the interesting thing there too is psychologically that download card has value because the CD they just bought has value. Ergo, the music you're now giving to a friend has value. So it's not the kind of thing where if you just hand someone a business card or whatever, they go like whatever and toss it. But it's almost part of psychologically it's almost part of the purchase price.
Yeah, and look, if you make a download card, which I'm now very into, just using a promo code, not even using individual I don't need an individual serialized number on my download card. I just need a promo code on it, because I want it to be used as many times as humanly possible. And I'll even print on the card, after you've used it, give it to someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
right.
happened to me this
Pay it
weekend. I
forward.
gave the card to somebody, and I ended up getting 3 people that downloaded my track because they shared it.
Huh, interesting. So I got 2 other questions here, and then we'll wrap up with you guys here. But they're both good questions, so I want to find out the answers here. The first one is in regards to apps, iPhone, Android, they even say, or even the Windows Phone. Are there mobile apps coming, or?
Yes. Coming. Not here yet.
Not here yet,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, right now we don't have mobile apps, but our storefronts are HTML5 based, so
Right.
they will show up
Gotcha.
on those applications. So if somebody visits your website or your Facebook page, our store will show up, and people will be able to purchase there.
We're just finishing unflashing all our store stuff.
I see. Right. Okay. And the other question is an excellent question, actually, for you guys, because you have seen probably every option out there. It's a simple question, though. It is, what is a good price for your album?
Ooh, there's 2 answers to that. The fast and easy answer is about $8. The longer answer is, it's really what your fans will pay. And I think every album should be offered in, say, 4 different forms. You should offer half the album as a free download, the whole album is a digital download at, say, $5. The album is a physical purchase at $10, and a signed album at $20. And do it all in one place so you can compare who buys what and understand what your fans are willing to pay. We have some artists whose fans are totally willing to pay $20 for a CD. We have others who do much better selling their CD for much less money. I'm with my own band, I'm about to convince everybody to actually give the thing away, because what we need is lots more fans, and what we want is lots more music in people's hands. And what I've been doing at shows, I've actually been sitting in the doorway at Rusted Root. There were 500 people in the audience, and I was not happy after a killer set selling 35 CDs at the break. So I actually went in the hallway and stood there with CDs saying, got CDs for sale, watching people turn their heads and bow their heads away because they're not buying CDs at shows anymore. So I finally started asking people, did you like the opening band? Love the opening band. I'm like, well, buy a CD. And they're like, oh, well, I'm kind of out of money. I'm like, well, how much money do you have? Because I don't want to go home with these. I want you to go home with our music. and literally that pitch
Your price.
got averaged about $8 a CD by the time it was done. And I sold another 45 CDs in the hallway.
Wow.
And that's more like the number I had hoped to sell. And that's what it took to sell them, which I have to say, over the years, I am seeing, a disconnect from people all of a sudden, that they're not even thinking about buying music anymore. It's like, I love that band, and that's it. That's like, it just ends at that, which doesn't make any sense. So
Right.
I think you have to take an extremely active role in selling your music and be open to figuring out what your fans will pay.
Right.
The other night, you know what, I wanted to show this to everybody. Does everybody know about Square, especially the folks in the U.S.? This little goofy thing that you stick into the top of your cell phone, of your iPhone or Droid phone, and you can take credit cards at your shows. This thing kicks ass.
Really? This is the old desktop Kachunker machine, right?
Right. And
It's the iKachunker.
I used this the other night, telling people, pay whatever you want. One lady gave me $15 for a CD. Another lady gave me $30 for a CD. Not only that, but I took a picture of her, because you can send a picture as the receipt. I took a picture of her smiling with the thing in her hand, and that got sent to her by email
Wow.
as part of the receipt. It's stuff like that you got to start doing now to get people re-engaged with buying.
Yeah. It's like
That was a long-ass answer, wasn't it?
No, but I think that's exactly what people want to know. There's no right answer and there's no short answer, but there's a good answer, and so I think that's
what the maximum amount of people will pay to get as much of your music in their hands.
Right. Very cool. Hodika on the chat is asking, what is it called? I think it's Square. It's called just Square.
Yeah,
right?
go to squareup.com.
Cool.
SQUARE up.com.
Very interesting.
They don't have an affiliate program, so I just made nothing from that recommendation.
Don't. Well, listen.
But I got to tell you, the spirit of this place is we want to share with people what works.
Right, right. Well, I want to thank you guys for sharing what works and for spending your time with us here tonight. And I hope everybody out there has learned something. I mean, if all you learned tonight was that we all got to start thinking outside the box, then you're on the right track. And there's a lot of ways, and I think, Phil, you certainly have spent the good part of the last few years, it seems, thinking about these outside the box ways. And so thank you guys for sharing your expertise with us. And I'll post the link again on our chat for everybody. Free account sign up for Nimbit. Check it out. Get on the platform, see what it can do for you. Get your music up on your Facebook page. I think that stuff all looks awesome.
Love to have you. And
this is a beta, so we'd love to hear what you think of it too.
Give us some feedback. Let us know what you want.
Awesome, cool guys. Well, take care and have a good night.
All right.
Thanks so much. You too.
Good night. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. And so that does it for us tonight. But tomorrow, don't forget that we will be back. We have a demo session, a music session with Chris Petty. He is going to be showing us, he's a teacher at DubSpot in New York City, which is a production learning facility in New York City, a really great educational institution. He's going to be showing us basically how you can look at synths. And it's another thinking outside the box event, actually. He's going to be showing us how you can sort of break out of your habits with Thor or Maelstrom or these synths and create sounds that you normally wouldn't create by trying. Maybe it's just trying a different oscillator. Maybe it's delving into a part of the synth that you kind of go like, oh, I don't really know what that does, so I'm not going to wiggle those knobs. And he's going to be making some dirty, grimy, nasty synths, and definitely excited for that. That's tomorrow, same time. It's going to be 9 p.m. in Europe. It's going to be 3 p.m. on the East Coast, 12 noon on the West Coast. So also, don't forget, tweet us your music. Hashtag #MMMPropSongs. Send us a link to if you have your music up on SoundCloud or wherever you have anywhere you have your music, send us a link. And we will be checking it out, and we'll play it at the top of the show and at the end of the show, as I'm doing right now. We'll see you tomorrow night on Music Making Month.